Again, back to this being a human story with an economic story, we're going to talk now to another business. Brian Woods from Woods Powr-Grip is joining us to tell us about what is going on in their business and what COVID has done to it. So Brian, are you ready to go?
Yeah, Karen, thanks.
Great.
We're a family-owned manufacturing operation out in Laurel. We employ about 140 people. Um, Really, our niche is making products for materials handling. In particular, we make vacuum gripping devices that are used for handling like mostly smooth sheet materials, like our biggest industry being the glass industry, but we also sell to for marble and granite and um, steel, aluminum, pretty much all different types of building cladding, stuff like that. So that's kind of who we are. Again, not in the mainstream face of things here in the community.
Great. Thank you. And I know you have like 140 employees, I believe you said. Tell us how COVID has been for you and your staff. You were deemed essential workers, and that was a lot of work, I believe. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's. I'll start off by saying, even though February seems like it was a lifetime ago, if like some of the others that talked earlier in February, if you'd asked me what our year looked like, I'd say, God, all indicators are great. We're looking awesome. This is gonna be a great year. And so as things kind of escalated a little bit, with the COVID scene, there's a good chance that we were a little bit naive and in denial, I guess you might say. But we did, at least take the time to put kind of a COVID response plan together in March, and seeing, what was happening in Europe, which is a big market for us. We cut out all of our overtime at the beginning of March, and then really mid-March was kind of a huge wake-up call for us, because not only did they close the schools, which impacted several of our employees, but also we started to see essentially export orders just dropped out. They were gone, and as they started shutting down different places throughout the country, we could see our domestic orders just kind of ratcheting down, and we're going into the second quarter of the year. This is supposed to be our busiest time of the year. Everybody's gearing up for the summer construction season. And so it was a little nerve-wracking, to say the least. I think the government did some things right with the Families First Coronavirus Relief Act that came out. I think, gosh, when was that? That was mid-March, I believe, and that really gave our employees a little more freedom to go spend some time with their children that weren't able to go to school, and make arrangements for more long-term daycare. And of course, things were slowing down for us. So during that second quarter, it wasn't a real strain for us production-wise to have people have to spend some time getting family things arranged. But as a matter of fact, we actually got to a point where I think it was it was late April 24th. We've come to the conclusion that things are so slow. We really just need people to start using up their leave time, because otherwise we have no idea how this is going to come back. And we could go into the second half of the year and this could come back quick. And now we got people wanting to use their leave time, and we're paying overtime when we've had a really bad for second quarter. So what we did is we required everybody from the new hire on the production floor to myself to use 80 hours of leave time between April 24th and June 30th. Again, it was a strategy just to kind of try and position us so we were in a better spot to handle hopefully a speedy recovery. And we have been fortunate enough that starting in the second half of the year, we did feel a substantial recovery. That second quarter, like I say, was nerve-wracking, but once we got into even into late June, but especially going in the second half of the year here, we've seen sales come back to maybe not normal what we'd think, what we'd want, but I'd say 90% of that. Of course, now, we've had some other challenges, of course, as the caseloads escalated. We've had very high absenteeism, most of it COVID related. And then we've also had a lot of disruptions in our supply chain because everybody's throughout the country or throughout the world, actually, I guess, is dealing with high absenteeism and their suppliers not getting things to them on time and stuff. And of course, it just rolls down the line. And now, it's one of the issues we have to deal with, trying to meet schedules and stuff.
Yeah, so thank you so very much for telling us about this. I know you've gone through a great deal of sanitization practices in the facility. And
Yeah.
how are you feeling right now about keeping your staff healthy and going forward? And we have just about 1 minute left. So tell us about your staff.
Okay, yeah, and we do. We starting at the end of March, when this all kind of flared up, we implemented a thorough sanitation process, not knowing, interesting things came out of today's discussion, and we realize now it's not transmitted as much through surfaces, but we stop 3 times a day and wipe down everything. Our people have checklists of things they're responsible for, as well as if they leave a workstation, they're supposed to sanitize it for the next person, maybe someone on the night shift or whatever is coming in behind it. We want to make sure they come into a safe environment. So, we've really worked hard with distancing and sanitation and stuff to try and eliminate or minimize any transmission within the building. And I think we've done a very good, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we've been very fortunate there, I'd have to say. Yeah, sanitation's been a big issue for us. Just again, distancing and keeping people from coming to work if they're sick. That was a big one. We had to put in a pre-work screen thing where you have to acknowledge that you're healthy and haven't had any close contacts before you're allowed to log in for the day and start work. And that was because we had some people come to work, unfortunately, that were sick or were exposed to someone, and then as a result, we end up sending half a dozen people home. And gosh, it just kills us when you got to send 6 or 7 people home for a couple of weeks, and usually it always happens to your busiest area, it seems like. But that's been kind of some of our challenges, and obviously they're ongoing. As everyone says, this isn't over, but I'm hoping we're in the 4th quarter.